G'day legends, I hope you're all amazing. It's the middle of the year, which also means it's the middle of winter down here in Australia, which is why I am so rugged up, while so many of you are probably trying to get out of your clothes as much as possible if you're in the Northern Hemisphere. And while I normally do an end of year gear roundup where I go through the most useful, inspiring, or straight up just indulgent or weird gear that I've tried in a given year, I've already tried so much awesome stuff in 2025 that I thought I might do a best of 2025 so far. And we will revisit this at the end of 2025 and we'll see what has come along during the year and what I've actually been using out of the list we're going to go through. But basically, I just wanted to highlight a few pieces that have come across my desk that I thought a bunch of you would be really into. You may have already seen the videos that I've done on these. If you haven't seen the videos that I've done on these, I'll make a playlist and link it in the video description so you can go and watch all of those. And we have to start off with an absolutely iconic little pedal already. So many of you have gone out and got this one, and it scratches that very particular itch for 80s style tones. It's the MXR Rockman X100 reissue. I am so stoked that they decided to reissue this. You can get that iconic clean 2 sound with the chorus out of it. You can get the Rockman lead sounds out of it. I really enjoyed putting the video together for this one. Here's 2 highlights. One is a jam over a track by the band The Midnight, and the other, of course, is that clean 2 mode with chorus on a Strat. It's going to be hard to top the X100 as a pedal in 2025, but we're only halfway through and I'm excited to see what comes along. Next, let's talk about amps. And there were 2 standouts here, and they're almost impossible to separate for me. The first one is the Synergy Syn 20 IR, which makes the Synergy modular system so much more compact and portable. I really like the way they were able to add IR loading and power amp simulation to the direct outs on that one. And if you're somebody who's doing a lot of smaller to medium-sized gigs and you need the versatility of the Synergy system, it's an absolute no-brainer to me. The other one is maybe arguably a little less versatile, but it is just pure distilled filth. I love the way this amp sounds so much, and it's coming out of Australia. It is, of course, the Headfirst Evil Joe, a 2-channel, I guess Jose-style modded amp. This one is the Joe Barresi signature model that Jason at Headfirst put together and designed with Joe, and it can do everything from the sort of 80s crunch tones to 70s rock to modern metal to Tool style tones, and that was definitely one of the most enjoyable videos that I've had the chance to put together for 2025. Let's hear some quick clips from the Synergy Syn 20 IR. We'll hear the Uberschall module and then the dedicated clean mode on the head, and then of course some filth from the Evil Joe. Next up, let's talk about some utility devices. These probably aren't as sexy as pedals, amplifiers, or guitars, but they get a lot of use. The first one, again coming out of Australia, is the Aero from Pirate MIDI. You're probably familiar with the Pirate MIDI bridge MIDI controllers. The Aero actually packs all of the same features and functions into a tiny little package on here. You have two TRS MIDI flexi ports on here. You can use this unpowered as an auxiliary switch, and it's got a USB-C connection. So you could use this to control effects on your computer. You could use it to control anything that has traditional MIDI on here. You can even power it via the USB slot on here. And you've got tap and hold, double tap functions, and so much more that you can do with these foot switches on here. Basically, this might be my favorite way to expand a digital modeler, whether it is a tiny little modeler, whether it is a fully fledged modeler like an FM9 or a Helix, where you just want to add a couple of extra switches on there. And I've been using this a lot with my Fractal VP4 because I can set up the first two switches to access the 4 scenes on the unit. I can leave the VP4 in effects mode so I can toggle effects on and off, and then I've got tap tempo and the tuner on the other button there. It also works great with the FM9 just to add some utility functions. I think if you're using any type of MIDI capable device, this is small, compact, affordable, and their editor software is really awesome. The other utility device that I got this year is the St. Rock React IR2. It's a fantastic sounding load box that can be rack mounted, and it also has a bunch of built-in effects that I think sound fantastic. There's a dimension style chorus, there's tremolo, there's reverb, there's delays. You can do circular style delays on it. You can load up a bunch of different IRs in there. It's got Bluetooth so you can edit it remotely, and it's sitting in my rack, out of shot at the moment, but at the bottom, and I've been running all my amps through it recently. Let's hear some very quick clips from the Aero, using it with the FM9 just to add some extra functionality on there, and then the St. Rock with a couple of different amps. Next up, we've got the Neural DSP Nano Cortex. This is a unit that a lot of people found pretty underwhelming when it launched at the end of last year. They rolled out a big update for it this year that adds a whole bunch of new effect blocks. The way the app integrates with it is very tidy. I like the quick workflow when you're using the app. I like the ability to make captures on the unit, and I like the fact that it also doubles up as an audio interface and can be powered by the USB bus power on your laptop. So if you've got a laptop, a Nano Cortex, a guitar, and a set of headphones, you can be totally untethered from power and record guitar on it. That is one reason why it's going to go in my gigging backpack, so that when I travel with it, I can record anywhere I like without having to futz around with power. I can also use it as a very effective backup and just capture my existing rig. I think there's a few features which I really hope they add in a 3.0 update, which are some more effect models and the ability to use MIDI CCs to toggle effects on and off. So I don't think it's quite perfect at the moment, but given its price point, especially here in Australia, its size and the overall power, it's going on my best of 2025 so far. Here's a few quick sound examples. Before we get to my absolute favorite piece of gear for 2025 so far, a couple of honorable mentions, and these are all electric guitars that I've had the pleasure of demoing. We're going to hear some really excessive fuzz and reverb tones out of the Fender Meteora, because that might be Fender's coolest guitar that they're making at the moment. I really like the body shape, and I did a lot of gigs with this guitar at the start of the year with Club Cabaret. It really fits the retro futuristic vibe on there. The addition of a bass cut control to the traditional tone control is something that I think should probably be a standard feature on all of their guitars. We'll hear how you can take a really bloated sounding fuzz and clean it up to get some very unique lead tones. Two affordable guitars that I've been really impressed with. The first is the Art or eArt Omni 24. Unreal specs at the price point that it comes in, like roasted maple, stainless steel frets, some really good sounding humbuckers, a really nice setup out of the box, and an amazing price point. They are a company that are doing some very impressive things, especially in the price bracket that they're in. And then the Hills HN6, a guitar I recently demoed. Fluence pickups, a great setup straight out of the box, a very cool headless tremolo, a super comfy body shape. I've been playing that a lot at home, and I've set it up in drop C so that I can do ragdoll gigs with it as well. Furthermore, another one which really impressed me with kind of similar specs to those two that I listed there, but at a more premium, or let's say prestige price point. It's the Ibanez AZ2402. It was a new addition to the AZ lineup, and it was a guitar that I just felt like I immediately bonded with. The neck, the setup, the frets, and the 10 different sounds that you can get out of it with a single 5-way and a toggle switch on there were pretty amazing. I really enjoyed that one. Let's have a listen to some clips from those guitars. My favorite piece of gear for 2025 so far, though, is this James Tyler JTG Mark I. This absolutely blew me away, and I've basically been playing it every single day since I got it. This is just one of the fattest sounding Strat style guitars that I've got. The neck profile, the setup, the playability, the overall vibe that this thing oozes is just something that I didn't really have in my arsenal before. The fact that they are able to deliver this guitar at the price point that they do, given the price of a USA made or a Japanese made Tyler, is pretty amazing. And I know when this came out, a lot of people rolled their eyes at the price point for a Chinese made guitar, but this thing is absolutely flawless. It may have my favorite Strat style trem on it. The preamp and the pickup combination on here is voiced perfectly if you want to do really spanky 80s cleans or you want to do big, thick leads. I've done a couple of ragdoll gigs on this one in drop C, and it has sounded absolutely monstrous. The locking tuners and the setup work so well. This guitar has been incredibly stable since I got it as well, and being able to abuse the trem on a guitar straight out of the box without touching the setup and have it stay in tune perfectly is testament to what Tyler do so well. They really do make guitars that perform amazingly well, even though a lot of people are going to make fun of this headstock. You know what? I don't care about the headstock because this thing sounds and plays so good, and it is well worth checking one out if you get a chance. Let's hear some clips. From all of you now, let me know which piece of gear you've found particularly useful, inspiring, or just straight up indulgent and enjoyable. Leave a comment, suggest some gear. If there's things that I haven't had the chance to check out on the channel, let me know and I will do my best to get my hands on them and do some demos of them. If you like what I'm doing here on the channel, you can support me in various ways, either by signing up to the Patreon, checking out some of the music that I make with my band Ragdoll, using the affiliate links in the video description, or just leaving a like, a comment, sending the video to one of your mates, or just playing your guitar and having a good time. At the end of the day, these things are all tools that we use for the amazing thing that is called music. Music enriches our lives in so many ways, and life without music just would not be the same, and life without cool guitar gear to make that music with also would not be the same. So thanks so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll see you on the next one.